Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. The Honorable Mem Yeti Zainal and all of my friends. We are Group 2. Today we present about philosophical influence education. I am Afrahul Fadila as first speaker. The second speaker is Muhammad Sharif. The last is Kak Dian Yurnita. Okay, so my materials, I start from big questions about how education can setting in best way, because of education is part of life, and also education is a part of country like in democracy in United States. So what is best way to make education better? Through 5 philosophical models. 5 philosophical models is very famous in expert of the world. The first model is about essentialism. According to William, said that essentialism is a basic of any education, such as literature, math, science, and also historical. It's about the how to knowledge in the world. They are basic and should know and also master of exist netizen in the world. Second is about perennialism. Perennialism is about the wisdom and also accumulate works over age. It's relate great literature and art such as Quran or Bible. The third is progressivism. Progressivism is a process. Process is important in daily activity, and also how to practice in habits daily life is also be a best way in education. It's about social reconstructionism. Social reconstructionism is about how to idea and how to critically can appear or can walking in a student life. It's about as George Kant said that he believed school are placed to examine and test idea critically. So and also John Dewey said and also emphasizes that something field school and teacher needs to focus on if they want of the function effectively. So in contemporary context, critical education such as Henry Groves and also Peter Michelin agree with many others of idea of George Kant. It means that idea in education or in a school can examine and test and also become critically each of them. Last is about existentialism. Existentialism is about divinative or authoritative knowledge, and also how the person can pursue the other people with education and what they choose of education. As the Nail said, the British educator founded a something school that most closely associated with philosophical of schooling. Next, education as transmission or self-discovery. It battle from old things and new things. Old things catch a thing about the student, learn what they need, and also basic and just think about the basic and what they need and then learn. But it's different from new things, and it comes with critical and argumentative. Said that a student learn basic of knowledge and also learning certain fundamental things. It like what happened in old and what happened in future. In old that people just learn what they need, and in future a student can open their mind with others' knowledge and also others' idea and argumentative, and it can be better. So in this case, a student and a teacher should know about education education is not just knowledge, it is also about the integrated knowledge, and can affect daily activity, and can affect a reality of life. So education is just not about the transformation knowledge, but also how to educate, how to give the pedagogical of the student. So if the student have bad morality, or have bad things, or something like lazy, or something like bad person, it can change with the education part, with education things, and they can get in the school. So education is not just transformation knowledge, but it will also can educate people and make a person different and change based on their mind, and also based on the aware of their self, and also the environment. Next is about the how do legal issue affect your ability background. So teacher in the school as a person, professional person, and give effect of student like laws, and can do equality, and also state and local control of school was based largely, and also philosophical that communities throughout the country would know the best for education of their children. Legal and equity have historical or timeline. The timeline I will explain start from 1896. 1896, a Supreme Court decision said that established rational, prosperous but equal treatment of black and white races in USA. So it spread between black and white people, and also in 1954, that broad education of Topeka, that students all levels of education system must have equal access the opportunity to learn. It means that there is a change, there is an improvement related to political era that before, like in apartheid cases, different races between black and white, and it can solve in 1944, 1954, that a broad education Topeka said that all level of educational system must have equal access. And also 1972, title legislation guarantee women equal access. So, and also it affect from sport facilities and also programs. The 1973 special needs, it become on in this era, and other people start to give attention with person who special needs. And also in 1975, the vocational education is about the special needs. It's about special needs student with special need, both mentality and psychically challenge, as well as gift and talented, should be integrated the normal education setting. So it will relate and integrate with other people and programming. So timeline of the historical in this country, it relate to system, it relate to political issue. It cannot spread because of it will affect each other of them. So education cannot exist alone without the country, without the constitute, without the political, and without the ideological what they apply at the time. So it will affect of them as well as. The Supreme Court decision said that establish rational, prosperous but equal treatment of black and white races in USA. So it spread between black and white people, and also in 1954 that Brown Board Education of Topeka that students all levels of education system must have equal access the opportunity to learn. It means that there is a change, there is an improvement related to political era that before like in apartheid cases, different races between black and white, and it can solve in 1944, 1954 that a Brown Board Education Topeka said that all level of educational system must have equal access. And also 1972 title legislation guarantee women equal access. So, and also it affect from sport facilities and also programs. The 1973 special needs it become on in this era, and other people start to give attention with person who special needs. And also in 1975 the vocational education is about the special needs. It's about special needs student with special needs, both mentality and psychically challenge as well as gift and talented should be integrated the normal education setting, so it will relate and integrate with other people and programming. So timeline of the historical in this country, it relate to system, it relate to political issue, it cannot spread because of it will affect each other of them. So education cannot exist alone without the country, without the constitute, without the political, and without the ideological what they apply at the time. So it will affect of them as well as. Last, like I explained before, that drawn timeline education historical. In fact, we can see education cannot spread by political, economic, or mind other issues or political system. So if you want to make a great person, we must make sure that what is best education system based on right or wrong ideology.
I'm Muhammad Sarif from the second group. We'll continue our discussion for today. That are the no child life behind the egg. The no child life behind the egg is the responsibility for the government, foundation, and also the teacher. The activity and the material that teacher give in the classroom is the strategy how to get the success for the student. And the purpose of the no child life behind the egg is to ensure all the children get a fair, equal, and a significant opportunity to obtain high quality education and reach a minimum proficiency and challenging state academic achievement standard and state academic assessment. From the assessment and instruction will give the fair for the student, and all the student get a success together. All the student get a fair and equal and the same opportunity to get the information and knowledge from the teacher in the classroom. And then how to avoid the child life behind the child life behind. The first is improve the classroom instruction. In the classroom, the teacher have to give the more instruction for this for the student by the instruction of the teacher, so the student can do the activities in the classroom. The activities in the classroom, like discussion, and also do the assessment in the classroom. And the second is they improve the skill of the teacher. The skill of the teacher have to improve. The lower of skill by the teacher will give the impact to the student. But government and foundation have give to training, and also the other resource information to the teacher, so the teacher skill will get improved. And then recruit effective school leader. The leader of the school have the important role in the classroom, in the school. The leader will give the impact to the teacher, and also the student success in the future. What the strategy, what the program that that leader give to the teacher in that school will give the impact, and also the successful for the student in the learning process. And then remove the barrier to learning. In the learning process, the teacher have to give the motivation, and also give the learning to the student, and give understanding to the student. So by the motivation from the teacher, it will avoid the barrier to learning by the student in the classroom, and then provide the student with successful start in the education. Education is the first step by the student to find the information is beside of the family and at the home. By the education, the student will get more information, more knowledge, and also the social with interaction each other in the classroom. It will give the successful for the student. It's successful for the education and social education in the school. And then the effect of no child behind the eggs. No child left behind the egg has been to expand the role of federal government in the education. No child left behind is the government responsibility for education, and no child left behind legislation is to raising a large amount of controversy at the state and local level. The other state, state, foundation, and also government have important role, important responsibility. The foundation and government have the responsibility for the student in the classroom. I think it's all for me.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Diani Rintasari. I am going to continue my friend's explanation that is about how are the foundation of education usable to you as a teacher. This is a question for us as a teacher, for the beginning teachers. Foundation of education provides the beginning teachers with what they do in the classroom to issues and process and forces at work in the larger society, and it gives the ways and the understanding how to teach and face the problem the children in the larger society. In the larger society arises the dominant issues in American education, that is equity. As we know that equity means a fairness. Equity in education is a measure of achievement fairness and opportunity in education. And researchers have found that the differences of the way of teaching between girls and boys, like in American education, in American classroom, the girls are thought to be passive to avoid demonstrating that they are smart, and boys are expected to be more proactive because their intelligence is more appreciated and praised. And the equity, we come to the equity. The equity is linked with 4 variables here, that is race, ethnicity, socio-economic status, and gender. And the first, we discuss about race. As the teacher, we should understand how race works in the context of the classroom. And we know that the race is socially constructed phenomenon that in Western culture has been used as a means to justify economic, social, political, religious, legal systems, and legal system of inequality. And we can see the example about race here, that is in American education. If white teacher teaches lower socioeconomic African American student, the perception about education is different. This is because as a result of racial prejudice and discrimination, the social and economic benefit provided by the schools have not been as great for them as for the white population. And the second is ethnicity. It means a common national origin, set of custom and languages. And as the teacher, we should know the students' ethnic background, their families originally from, and their cultural experience. And then the third is socio-economic status. This is about socioeconomic status uses economic success as a social characteristic or marker. Here it means that in the United States, there was the distinctions among people based on the social class. It can be seen in the disparities between public school and private school. Private school were used by high school economic status, and the school provided the student to the best academic challenge, and for the low economic status couldn't study there because the high tuition. And the fourth is about gender. It classifies individual sex and used to describe the socially inscribed characteristic woman and men. And in American, men and women, boys and girls have been treated differently. As the teacher, we have to know how traditional sex roles may or may not affect the aspiration of your students. And we come to here, there are 10 questions that inform your teaching. The 10 questions that inform how to teach as the teacher. The first is, what should we teach in the school, and what is word, and whose knowledge should be most valued in our society. This question reflect us what knowledge the teacher the teachers are presenting to their students. If you're and the second is, what is to be educated? Does a gifted child need the same support and resources as an average child? And this question is that we consider what the values that we that is the question is so that how we should distribute our instruction resources. We consider what the things we value over others. And the third is what makes a good school. Thus, the definition of a good school differs depending on the socio-economic background of its student. Can we compare schools with different types of students who have different types of needs? This question will help the teacher to understand what is good or bad, as well as appropriate in the setting in which the teachers are working. And the fourth question is, what types of obligation do schools have beyond simply educating students? Should school address the moral development of students, for example, or provide health services? These questions should help the teacher reflect on what the teachers do in their work that goes beyond simply providing information and instruction. And it also should help the teachers think about the issue, such as whether it is appropriate for the teachers to intervene in the lives of their students and their families. And the fifth is, should schooling be compulsory? What is considered a sufficient education? Should students be compelled to learn things they or their parents oppose on moral and personal grounds? And this question should help the teachers think about the obligation of the state to provide at least a minimal level of learning to all students, and as well as the fact that many students may consider themselves coerced by the system. And the sixth question is about what role should religion play in schooling? Should selected religious practices or sects be allowed in the school? Should certain religious group be excluded? And what is equitable? And this question will help the teachers understand about the potential sources of conflict with families, and why people who see religion as playing a significant role in their life often feel that schools are godless and lacking the spiritual and moral dimension they want for their children. And the seventh question is, what constitutes the necessary and proper means of training teachers? Who should be allowed to teach? To what extent should teachers have the right to act in the classroom according to the dictates of their own values? What constitutes good teaching? What is it considered good teaching? This question help the teachers think about why and what the teachers are doing in the classroom, and what type training and background will help the teachers become the most effective teachers possible. The eighth question is, what is the role of business in shaping and influencing the contents of education? What type of influence should business have in shaping the curriculum of the schools? Should students be trained for the specific jobs that are being demanded by the business systems? And this question will help the teachers understand the forces that may be at work in their community. What funds are allocated for what types of program and why, and this is the consideration will also help the teachers understand something of the nature of power and influences in American society. The ninth question is, should there be national standards and guidelines for the curriculum of the schools? Should the content of curriculum be controlled at the local and state level or by the federal government? Who should determine what gets taught in the school? This question will help the teachers address whether testing and evaluation is a positive force in American education. This is about the testing, as well as what standards are appropriate for the children whom the teachers are teaching. And the last question is, to what extent should school be used as a means of correcting or compensating for past social injustice? Should the school be used to disaggregate the society and bring about greater equality? Should some people be given special compensatory treatment because of poor injustice? And this question, as the teacher, we will have to confirm about the issues of the school that being used to help create a more equitable society. And this is about the question of to inform the teachers. We can conclude it that the foundation of education can provide the teacher with a starting point for reflecting on what it means to be a teacher. So that's all for our groups, and thank you for watching us. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.